The next presentation will be from Lithuania again, and it will be given by Master of Sciences Ingrida Bogačionienė from the Lithuanian National Museum of Arts and Pranas Gudinas Conservation Center. And she will talk about communicating restoration, educational strategies for cultural heritage engagement. Ingrida is a gilding restorer and also academic staff in different educational enterprises in Vilnius Academy of Arts, and she teaches several subjects like chemistry, photography, of course, gilding. So, please, floor is yours.
So, thank you for the introduction. And yeah, it's very nice to be here and represent my ideas, my research. Very happy to see a lot of faces. When you come here, you see that you cannot see your faces that much, so it's easier for us to speak. But what I came up with the idea about the communicating restoration, I think it's very important nowadays. When we live in this society, when we find all the research, all the information on the internet, and I see a lot of students, and I have a question for all of you, even for our teachers. How many of you have used artificial intelligence for your work, for everything? So what I did the research when I needed to find some information on gilding and all other stuff that I teach, and I want to use new materials on my work and so on. And it was very bad. As we live in a day and age when we use a lot of social media, we see that it's very hard to understand which is a real good principles of restoration and what is the influence of 5 Minutes Crafts channel that you know. So do-it-yourself culture is getting more and more popular. We use lots of information from there. And I want to remark one thing. When I talk today about the communication strategies, it's not for us. It's not for the people in this area. I'm talking how to get the people from different areas, not from academic background, to see and feel what we feel about the heritage, to start to love it and to preserve it more. So, as I tell you, there are a lot of social media channels, lots of going on, and I see a little mix of restoration, renovation, and conservation meanings in the area. So I decided that I need to do something, okay? So we all know that people learn the best from the educational activities, and we are very good at it. We are restorers, we are conservators, we have a lot to show, and we have a lot of to do on our side. So what we started to do in Pranas Gudinas Restoration Center, we started to invite people to us, to hear our stories, to see how important it is to work with the heritage, how much research it takes, how long it takes, how many techniques you need to know. Everything about our work that we understand, but people, however, do not. So, we started our activities like this, that we invite them to our restoration center, our restorers talk to them. Of course, we do some workshops. We do the gilding workshop where people come to our educational corner. They see the exhibition of restoration work, of restoration techniques. They can touch materials that we use. We do the introduction about the importance of restoration, about the ethics, about the documentation, and so on. And then they try to do a bit of gilding, a bit of furniture restoration, a bit of archaeological leather, and so on. But they get the background about the importance of the restoration. And when they try to do a bit of techniques of gilding or other techniques, they understand that it's not that easy. They need to know a lot, and so on. And of course, we go to the exhibitions, we go to the museums, we go to the people themselves. So it actually works very well when you go to the museum that they have in their city and talk about their exhibition, about their objects. They start to learn it more, they start to look differently, and I'm very happy to see the results. That actually people come to me in the exhibition and they tell me, I was in your lecture, I really loved it, and I found a piece of frame on the floor, I gave it to the front man, and you're gonna fix it. So it's very nice to see this come up. So actually, and we see that still people really trust in experts organizations, so it's very good for us. We have a good educational background, and of course, sellers and social networks. So we have two of them for us. Okay. So I started with a theoretical background. As I mentioned before, we're not talking about the academic background people, we're talking about the people who are not involved in this area, okay? So we need to get them to us. Okay, we have this educational program, it works very well, we see the outcome of it, but we need to catch them. So I came up with this communication model that first you need to get the attraction, work on our social media, work for them, and it's very, very important to mention all the communication that you have on social network, it's not for you, it's for audience that you need to catch. So this is the important idea. This is actually the one idea, probably the main one that I want you to have from my presentation. All the communication, all the speaking, all the words that you use is for them, not for you. So when they come to us, we provide them with this educational workshop or guided tour, then we have the reaction from them. Guys, if you would see their eyes, how they change from our tours, how they come up with this huge smile with understanding. And when you see those people in the exhibition, and when the young generation come to us and say like, okay, now I'm gonna spend more time in the museum, I'm gonna appreciate more the objects and surrounding what I have, this is what really feels like what you work for. And it gives a different meaning to our work as well. So actually what they do, they go to, after these reactions, they go more to exhibitions, they come to us back, and they build loyalty. So we build community. We build the community that brings us more people, they talk about us, they want to be kind of in a cool group. So this is nice. So the idea how to get them, we need to do the research. So I know this scheme looks very difficult, but in the social science, you need to check how everything lays out. So I do the research, I check the content. For the greater research, I created a new account that I wouldn't have any algorithm, and I get deep into the internet. And I see that the main topics that we have in the field of restoration is restoration services, education, or restoration. And everything goes into results and process. So during this mixed method approach in the media content analysis, I saw that like more than 60% of all content is about before and after short videos, but only 15% of them contains the ethical or methodological explanation. So actually they just show great pictures, but no ethical things are around. And also I do the expert interviews to see how it lays out with other research, and I did the survey from our visitors. So how the restoration is communicated nowadays, so I talk about this problem already, about the misleading information, but the main area that we need to fight to fight is do-it-yourself culture. And you see an example of the online course, Furniture Restoration and Transformation for Beginners. So this is the one of the examples what we have. Like during the COVID time, when we were locked down, people started to look for different courses, different areas, tried to learn things to do at home. And this is what they have. like from old chair, you create a new one. And this is all about it. It's not talking about the restoration ethics and so on. Everything is about renovation, and influencers are working on this as well. So we are in the kind of war that it's really, really hard to fight, okay? So when we did the survey with our visitors, we find out that still like 72% of people look for information on the social media. So it again shows us that we need to work on that. Still 64% before they come to our activities were confusing restoration and renovation field, and 50% of people after our workshops changed their mind and understood the differences. And 82% of people still trust in high experts. So it's really good for us. We just need to show up on the social media. It looks very easily, yeah? But actually, this is the visibility paradox. As we have more social media, we don't have enough money, we don't have enough experts to compete with the other content. However, it's getting better. If you see, we have more museums, more restoration communicating with the content that is relatable to the young generation, to the people from the different fields. It's getting more engaged. Of course, it sometimes looks like everything is simplified, but it's not about it. You have to be very creative and work very hard to get like really high quality information to put in 2 sentences or in a very short video to catch the audience to come to us, and then the work begins. So actually, if it's a very big challenge, but it's of course an opportunity for us. So what are the recommendations for the effective communication? Use storytelling, short videos, live sessions. What builds the community the most is to see our faces. You see more, of course, you couldn't see like the moving video from our social media, but if you check our social media, you see that we build the community with our faces. We show our colleagues, we show videos, us talking to us. And this is what they have. They have like familiarity with us. They are not afraid to come to us. They are not afraid to ask questions. And even like walking around in the city, in the exhibitions, people come to us and ask questions. This is nice because like more and more we are getting open up to community. And of course, it's very important to build partnerships with schools, media, influencers. Actually, we have a good example. We had one influencer coming to us. She created a short video about the excursion from our restoration center, and we were fully booked for a half a year. So it was very, very good. We had like people from the different fields who haven't even thought that we have a restoration center in Lithuania. It's still happening. So conclusion, I have like 2 sentences that I want you to bring home. Is conservate is communicating. It's not only technical appearance, it's about the communication, about us going to people. We all look through the social media and complain about the content, but who else gonna do a good content if not us? And the other thing, as I said, the one important main idea is we do the communication not for us, but for audience that we want to bring to us. So thank you. And oh, yes, I have this. I want to ask you, because I'm going to go deeper in this research, so I want to fill the gap between our visitors and professionals. If you have 1 minute, please fill up the form. I want to check it out, how you feel about the communication and what you see in the field of communication in the restoration field. And now really thank you, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you, Ingrida. It was really very, very interesting report. I think there will be many questions. Maybe this time we can start from auditory. Is there any questions? There is one hand I see.
Thank you for a very interesting presentation. Since you have built such a loyal community, have you thought about doing some fundraising projects based on this community or in the help with this community? Because restoration work is expensive and so on. And second question, have you measured your conservation center popularity before this project and after this?
Okay, so first of all, thank you for all the questions. And for the fundraise, we had one fundraise for Maria Primachenko's works for the restoration. It worked very well, but it was included in all the museum and so on. So as we work as a restorers, it's our main work is to restore. So this all educational work is like a kind of part of our jobs. So if we would have more people working on it, it would be much easier. But this is the main idea, that all these workshops are provided with our specialists to contain the really good content. And the other question was about the measuring, yeah? So before, it was hard to measure. We never checked it. We did some excursions, guided tours for students or for teachers, but we were never open to the public. So at the beginning, it was strange. We had people coming in, but after a few months, we have more and more people coming in. And when we opened up our social media, when we fixed all the bugs in ticket services and so on, it was quite good, and we see the difference. But we have to admit the start was very rocky. We didn't know how to do it. We were not experts in providing all this educational work. So at the beginning, we needed to fix all the social media channels to see how it works, find out how it works, what content works, and of course all the technical issues for buying tickets, for registration, and so on. So I hopefully answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
Some more questions?
Feel very popular here.
Hi, thank you very much. I'm interested if you have special classes or programs for school classes, and if so, if they are integrated into their school curricula, or is it apart from their school curricula? Thanks.
So we started to work with schools, but it's more we invite them to come to us, chemistry students coming to us to see the chemical research, science research department. We work with the universities, of course. Our restorers teach in universities and colleges, and it has a lot of potential, this educational work and so on, but still everything is in the progress. So we hope we're going to get included more, and Vilnius has this program. Vilnius is a school, so we're going to be a part of it. We're going to have lectures in some science and arts, so it's going to be the start, I guess, at the beginning.
Thank you. Do we have still time for some more questions? Some more questions, please. Aidonas?
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. It was really very interesting and actual in Lithuania now at the moment when we're feeling. Okay, let's start from the question. So, do you have some feeling, some differences in discussions in social media, in like meanings and like a professional discussion, like about technologies, about some researching points. And what do you think about these two differences when we just having just a meanings and professional discussion?
So we have like a lot of content. What I'm talking like here today, different discussions. Yeah, of course, we discuss a lot about this field, and I have a lot of questions about my research. But today, my focus was to get people to our educational workshop. We have to admit we are not equal in the fight in the social media content with the influence where they paid for the ads and so on. We don't have money for it. Museums and conservation centers don't put money in the ads to promote our research. So what we do, we put like short videos or short descriptions of our work, represent them. And for people who are interested in the field and which are academic, they still gonna find us. They still gonna find our research in libraries and so on. So this my presentation is more like get people from the different areas, and when they come to us, like we provide this importance of the research, importance of learning, importance of understanding. Like when I talk about the social media here, is more like to get them to us, that we could have like longer and really good conversation with them. I hope I answer your question.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Maybe we will discuss about it later.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we still have time for more questions? Any more questions from auditory? There is a, yes.
Yeah, I'm really getting very popular here.
It's a very good topic, I think.
It's a kind of strange topic,
Hello.
I
Yes.
know.
Thank you for this refreshing presentation, and I would like to ask you, maybe you have some experience. Is the audience is also interested in not only the technical aspect of the conservation, but also about the meaning of the art? I observed this, the contemporary society is lost the understanding. Did you observe something like this?
If I understood the question well, so when we have like our guided tours, like for example in exhibition, we talk about the art. We talk about how we see it. And what I forgot to mention, we play like kind of Sherlocks there. We take like UV light, different lighting and so on, and we talk with them. We look at the object to see this behind work of the object. We look at there. For example, I talk about the frames that we don't talk about it too much. So we talk about them. We see the different ornaments. We talk about the meaning of it. We look for the different metals, if it's gold or silver and so on. Why is that? How it shapes the society? Why we use like cheaper metals? If it's like, and we create this historical and art context together. We talk about it, like what I mentioned all the time, like. It's not like people in the old days were sitting on the couch, like in kind of like these couches, and were like sitting all the day and not living their life. Everything happened. It was historical context. They loved. They were happy. They played something. You know, they experienced the life, and they have like money differences and so on. So there are like different choices and so on. So we talk about the art, and we talk from kind of different ways. And we give like a bigger context, and we talk about the historical aspects, and sometimes why we approach the objects in the way that we approach, why we leave some marks, why we leave some scratches and so on. We talk about this very, very widely.
so it works.
Yeah, it works very well.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Do we have time for questions? I have one question. I am not sure if should I ask it or not. My question is, you were talking about that you are working with different parts of society, like young people, students, etc. Do you have experience and have you worked with people who are making decisions, for example, or you are more oriented to other parts of society?
We have experts coming on. Of course, they are interested in what are we doing there, but we always like very transparent that the context, the language that we use, it's not for professionals. It's very understandable for the people from different area. So we more concentrated on the people from different areas not associated with the conservation and restoration field. I think it's very important. For us, it's very clear. We love our heritage, we work for it, we all know the money situation and so on. If we wouldn't love it, we wouldn't be here. But the people from different areas, they don't understand the importance. They see the object in the exhibition, but they don't understand how much research, how much work, how many hours it costs for the object to be there, how many people were working on it. So it's for me, it's more like was the mission of mine to go there to talk to people from the different areas to get the attention to us more, to get the attention to the details and the research what we do. So it is very good to work like with the younger generation. We invite like people in higher classes in the school that they could decide maybe they want to have like art and research career in this field. For example, I was a chemist, but now I'm a gilder, you know, so they can decide what they want to do. And maybe there are some young generation people who come there and see like, I'm kind of artistic and I like the science, so on. So this is the field that they could actually work in, but they never heard of it because we were too silent too long.
Okay, thank you. Still time for questions? Or yes, we have time for questions. Any more questions?
Okay.
I think maybe questions are coming because it was really interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ingrid, very
Thank you.
much.
So if you want further discussions with me, you're more than welcome to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.